Days after Assembly polls debacle, Congress held an emergency meeting at Sonia Gandhi's residence. Election strategist Prashant Kishor attended the meeting as well and discussed the blueprint for the 2024 polls. Prashant Kishor also presented a detailed plan for the upcoming Assembly elections. There's huge speculation doing the rounds about Prashant Kishor joining the Congress party, which of course has its back to the wall after a series of poll debacles. Over 10 senior Congress leaders, including K.C. Venugopal, P. Chidambaram, Mallikarjun Kharge, attended the meeting at 10 Janpad. Rahul Gandhi was also one of the leaders who attended the key meet. Congress leaders also discussed the political situation ahead of the upcoming Assembly elections. Now, just before the meet, Sonia Gandhi had lashed out at Prime Minister Narendra Modi, accusing him of playing divisive politics in the country. Sonia Gandhi also hit out at the BJP and RSS, blaming them for creating an environment of hate.
Prashant Kishor has made a presentation, detailed presentation for 2024 election strategy. It needs some detailed discussion. The Congress president will set up a small group to discuss this entire presentation. That group will submit their report within a week time for a final decision.
So will he be working in the Congress party as a strategist, or he will be joining the Congress?
Every details will be informed within a week time.
The joy of physical schools was momentary for many kids in the national capital region. A slight spike in COVID cases have resulted in the closing down of schools. However, experts say that shutting schools is no solution and is unscientific. My colleague Sneha Mordani explains.
2 years on, some sign of normalcy for kids with schools opening up. But this joy has been rather short-lived. After the decline of the third wave in India, fueled by the relatively mild Omicron variant, cases have started to increase in Delhi city and the national capital region. And first to face the brunt of it, as always, has been the schools. A handful of infections in Noida, Ghaziabad and Delhi has prompted schools to close down. The Delhi government has gone to the extent of issuing an advisory that schools should close if a case of COVID appears. Experts say the advisory is unscientific and that closing down of schools should be the last resort.
When the general precautions are withdrawn, when people stop wearing masks, especially in closed spaces, the virus gets to spread freely among people. So the outbreak in a school might be a signal of a larger outbreak within the region. Closing of a school must be done as a last resort because continuing in-person education is extremely important for children.
Pediatricians who have seen rare cases of severe COVID infection in kids also agree.
We know that this wave, unless a new variant comes or the mortality increases, there is no need to panic. We need not to close down the schools. It is just knee-jerk reaction that is not warranted.
Given the rarity of severe infection in children and also very few occurrences of multi-inflammatory syndrome post-COVID, coupled with the mild infection being seen due to Omicron and its subtypes, experts say schools should not and must not close. Most parents agree.
As a parent, I feel that schools are being singled out for no good reason, really. I mean, where are similar testing, surveillance, shutdown guidelines for offices, for malls, for cinemas, for markets, which are very crowded and everybody's going everywhere. Everything is open. It's not just schools. Infection can be anywhere. SARS-CoV-2 lives everywhere, not just in schools.
Schools must go on and kids must enjoy the certainty of attending school. This constant vacillation between online and offline school has a detrimental and irreparable damage on the mental growth of our kids.
The DTMA, or the Delhi Disaster Management Authority, is all set to meet on the 20th of April to discuss the increase in cases in Delhi and also discuss the increase in the positivity rate. The chorus, however, is growing that it is now time to live with the virus, with COVID protocol, and not really run away from the virus. In New Delhi, Sneha Mordani for India Today.
Shifting focus, Russia retaliates after flagship fleet Moskva sinks. Multiple missile strikes have jolted Kyiv province. Russia also claims to have targeted defense infrastructure, including a Neptune missile manufacturing facility. This after a Neptune missile reportedly destroyed the Moskva warship in the Black Sea. Take a look at this report.
Russia hits back with vengeance. Moscow rained missiles on key Ukraine targets after its Black Sea Fleet flagship Moskva was sunk. Russia claims to have hit defense infrastructure that includes a missile manufacturing facility in Kyiv.
There is an apprehension that there will be an escalation in hostilities between Ukraine and Russia, increasingly with infrastructure being targeted in this country. It's not just bridges, it's not just defense manufacturing units. For example, the facility where the T-80 tanks are made in Ukraine, that's been targeted in the past. Missile manufacturing, petrol and oil depots are increasingly being targeted. The aim is to ensure that Ukraine does not have access either to military hardware or even fuel to continue this conflict for long.
Retaliatory strikes by Moscow have inflicted huge damage. According to reports, Russia has been targeting oil depots and military factories in Ukraine. Ukraine is silent about the strikes at its military installations. Earlier, Moscow had attacked the US cola giant's factory in Brovary on the outskirts of Kyiv.
A very systematic message being sent out not just to Ukraine but also to multiple other North Atlantic Treaty Organization countries and the United States of America that Russia will neither take restrictions lying down nor will it not retaliate to the sinking of Moskva. There are reports that in the coming days there will be an escalation in Russia's response to the sinking of the flagship fleet, Black Sea Fleet ship, the Russian Navy's Moskva, the guided missile destroyer Moskva. With cameraman Lalit Mohan Joshi in Brovary, Ukraine, Gaurav Sawant for India Today.
An explosion on April 13 damaged the Russian guided missile cruiser Moskva. Following this, pro-Kyiv social media accounts shared a video of an exploding ship claiming it was footage of Moskva's demise. India Today's anti-fake news war room has busted the fake claim. More details in this next report.
On the 13th of April, Russia suffered its biggest military setback. The Russian guided missile cruiser Moskva was severely damaged after a massive explosion rocked and sank the warship. Satellite images on your screen show the vessel in and around Sevastopol in Crimea on April the 7th and April the 10th. Moskva, the flagship of Russia's Black Sea Fleet, was badly damaged when ammunition then blew up on board. While Moscow maintains it was a fire near the warship's ammunition hold that caused the explosion, Ukraine maintains a pair of its Neptune anti-ship missiles were responsible for the strike and the sinking of this mega ship. Following this, pro-Kyiv social media accounts shared a video of an exploding ship claiming it was footage of Moskva's demise and sinking. However, India Today's anti-fake news war room fact-checked the claim made by many sections in Ukraine. The video captured a Norwegian missile test fired in 2013, totally unrelated to the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war and nearly a decade before. The clip shows the exploding vessel from some distance, making it difficult to compare it to images of the Moskva. The video shows the test firing from two different angles. 40 seconds into the video, we notice a long-range shot of the missile strike, the part that we saw in the video that's gone totally viral on social media. According to reports, Norway used a decommissioned frigate as cannon fodder for its new subsonic missile back in June 2013. The location of the test firing was off the coast of Andøy in Norway.
So far, Ukraine was fighting a defensive war. But since the sinking of Moskva, which Ukraine claims was because of 2 anti-ship missiles fired off the coast of Odessa, where the ship was on the Black Sea, that's where a very serious escalation is likely on the cards.
Bureau Report, India Today.